Thank you, Priya, and all our panelists for breaking it down for us. What exactly is the revolution in as far as quantum AI is concerned and the practical applications of it. But we're going to shift focus now away from digital infrastructure onto physical infrastructure. And to do just that, I'll be joined by the Metropolitan Commissioner at MMRDA, Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee, who will join me on the floor. Let me welcome on board Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee, the Metropolitan Commissioner, as promised of MMRDA, to deep dive with us as to how exactly are they looking at doing that. So you've promised some big things in the video that we saw, the kind of last mile connectivity that you're working for, how you're looking at rebooting the entire city. But you are in a job where you can't look at 2 years, 3 years. You have to look at the long term, the next 10 years, 20 years. What exactly is your vision, let's say 25 years down the line?
Thank you for that brilliant question. In fact, infrastructure itself is a long-term thing, and so MMRDA essentially is a long-term organization, and all the projects that they do, they have a gestation period, then they have an implementation period, a construction period and an implementation period. And so we have prepared a master plan for the MMR, which is a planning cum economic master plan, and that plans to take MMR into a $1 trillion economy by 2047. 2047 is the year which has been declared by the Government of India, led by our Honorable Prime Minister, as the day, as Amrit Kal. So as we move towards Amrit Kal, the target is to take MMR to a minimum level of a $1 trillion economy. That is what it is. Now, the various figures, facts, whatever the think tanks have given, it is expected it will cross this. It might go even more, maybe up to 1.5 trillion.
Wow.
But the plan that MMRDA has prepared, along with the Niti Aayog Government of India, is a conservative plan. And in that conservative plan, we have identified, we want to raise make MMRDA a $1 trillion economy. Now, how do you do that? So, do you have, one can paint a picture, and one can say, ki, bhai, aisa hoga. But in this case, it is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very specific roadmap. So there are 7 growth drivers which have been identified. Some of the growth drivers are, for instance, the services industry.
Fair.
That needs to be developed. The ports, so port proximate development, that needs to be taken over. Tourism, media, entertainment, that needs to be taken up. Affordable housing for all, talent retention, ALTAs. So we have identified 7, growth drivers. Now, to do these 7 growth drivers, there are essentially 8 policy shifts which need to be done. These 8 policy shifts will come in the form of change in the housing policy, change in the industrial policy, change in the services, the way we look at services. So there are 8 sectors which have been identified, and there will be 8 institutional shifts. On that, we have identified the institutions which will take this up. For instance, there is the MMRDA, which will be the leading institution. But of course, it will be supported by organizations like the CITCO for Navi Mumbai region, and MIDC for the industrial development of this region, MMRDA for the housing development of this region, so SRA. So all these institutions have also been identified, and a specific list of 37 projects have been identified. Now, with these 37 projects, we have also identified what is the gross value that will be added. We have identified the total employment that will be generated. And thereby, as we take MMR, currently the GDP of this MMR is $140 billion. And this is to grow, by 2030, it shall grow to $400 billion.
Wow.
And by Amrit Kal, it will cross $1 trillion. On the current dollar exchange rate and at the current prices. So we have not taken a nominal values and inflation and all these things into consideration. So that is how the plan has been prepared. Now, what is MMRDA doing right now? Because what we are doing right now is a foundation on which these things will take up. So right now, the most important thing that we are doing, so we are a planning agency, so we make plans. So we have a plan for Mumbai, we have a plan for the Mumbai Metropolitan region. But more than that, we are focusing on connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
We have a philosophy that Mumbai should be connected within minutes. And therefore, we are building a network of arterial roads. So we do the larger roads. The smaller roads are done by the local authorities. So we are doing a network of arterial roads. And there are 7 ring roads, which we will be taking up. Some of the work is complete. Some of the work is under progress. And the remaining ones will happen in the next 3 months. So that's how we'll start in the next 3 months. So that is how we have planned this. Second is, so this is arguably, I would say, one of the largest ever attempted road network.
Of course.
The second thing is that we are attempting to make, with what I would say is arguably the largest metro network undertaken by any given agency at any given single point of time. 337 kilometers of metro line are being built. Now, when we see that metros, the first metro was built way back in 2008. And then in 2015, when MMRDA entered into the metro sphere, then this was totally new because there was a Delhi Metro.
Correct.
And there was no other organization which was
doing metros.
So we got the technology, we got the people, we got the staff. And as you go around Mumbai, you see lots of barricades. But those who are original Mumbaikars, they will also notice that barricades are being, removed. And we hope to commission more than 23 kilometers of metro line this year, more than 50 kilometers of metro line the coming year. So in this way, in the next 2-3 years, we intend to complete this entire metro network that we are constructing today. Then after that, now once you are connected, so then the whole region that gets in, and so that will start developing. If this development has to happen, then this development has to happen in a planned way.
Of course.
So for that, MMRDA is today the largest special planning authority in the country. It is the largest development authority in the country, the 5th largest in the world, but in the country, we are the largest special planning authority as well.
Sure.
Right, and so we are making the development plan of 2,200 plus square kilometers.
Wow, that's
On
massive.
this, we have more than 11 growth centers which have been identified. And each of these growth centers will be based on a particular theme or the natural economic driver will become the focus point on these growth centers. Then the biggest problem in Mumbai is land. It is slums. So MMRDA has now entered into the realm of slum development. The government of Maharashtra has introduced several agencies as a part of this master plan that I spoke about into slum development. We are also one of them. And in fact, our slum project is moving at a very large pace. And the target that we have kept for ourselves is that by 2030, Mumbai should be reasonably slum-free. So that's the target that we have kept. In addition, we are doing what is known as the Mumbai 3.0 project,
right,
which I'm sure all of you have heard about, and the Honorable Chief Minister would have spoken of it. And in one of the projects, he said this is a second, after Vadhavan Port, this is the second most important project. So Mumbai 3.0 envisages creation of a full new city where MTHL lands on the other side of the border. And that whole land has been created, and therefore the whole further development of Mumbai can happen on that side. Because essentially now, what is happening is that from Worli and Shivdi, you reach New Bombay in about 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes.
So that is the time that we have saved. So that part will be developed, and that will be a fully planned city.
Sure.
We are focusing on, like Mumbai today is the financial capital. It is also the capital in, say, we are the startup capital. We are also the, data center capital.
Correct.
We are the animation capital. So all these type of third and fourth generation industries. The focus will be on third and fourth generation industries because essentially this is an urban part. So that is, all these projects are on the anvil. And all these projects, along with these 37 projects that I mentioned, which is a very large report, and I think it will take about 2 hours to explain that. But it is available on the internet, right? And everybody has spoken about it.
Sure.
These is something that we will take and make MMR into a $1 trillion economy as we reach Amritkal.
Yeah, no, Dr. Mukherjee, you've set yourself some, tall targets, right, from last mile connectivity to some redevelopment, etc. How are you looking at executing that, in the sense that earlier today we saw the MOUs being signed with a lot of partners as well? What kind of partnership do you expect from the private sector? How's the financing of this going to be like?
That's a very important question. And since it is Mumbai, and since this is the financial capital of the country, therefore the bulk of the investment has to come in from the private sector. That is number one. Number two, the private sector has to have a role. Even in the works that we do, the private sector will be the contractors and they will execute the work. Third, we actively engage the civil society. And we actively encourage concurrent social audit of our projects. And all our things are moving towards a net zero. So as we are doing this, we generally, in the good old days, so you had money in the bank, and after you had money in the bank, you would take up a project, and depending on the money in your bank, you used to pay for the projects, and the projects used to got done. Today, we don't think like this. We think that this project is going to last for so many years. We think that the project is going to generate this type of revenue.
Yeah.
Therefore, this is the viability quotient of the project at present prices, and then we do a financial closure. So today, what we did, the 4 point, so before that, we went to Davos, and there we raised $40 billion of foreign investment.
Wow, $40
Videshi,
billion.
as Honorable DCM said, Videshi.
Yeah.
And then here, actually, as far as the Deshi thing is concerned, Indian thing is concerned, we are doing it for a long time. So this 4.07 crore, which is actually a line of credit, because it's a steady commitment. But what we have done here, we will use the money. This is not to be spent over 1 year or so. It is 5 to 7 years, and this money will be used as it is required. And the interest rate shall be determined by the market forces. So that's how we have kept it flexible, so as to enable us to do the projects properly. So that's the financial part of it. The second part of it is land acquisition. So we are doing land acquisition. We have very interesting models of land acquisition. We acquire land by the act. We acquire land by consent. We acquire land by land for land models. We acquire land by negotiations. We acquire land by something called as a pass-through policy. So we have a whole, basket of products. So the landowner, he has an option of choosing
What he wants to do.
Second thing is that very key thing is rehabilitation. And I would like to say, rehabilitation is something very, very key to our hearts. We cannot just do projects, and we cannot.
You
so
can't
we
just
also,
uproot people,
so
right.
we have a very, very robust rehabilitation policy. Every person who is dehoused by an MMRDA project either gets a house or he gets money. He gets a financial compensation for that. So we have that. We also have a very, very strong sustainability plan in everything. So if we cut a tree, then we plant certain trees in return of that.
Sure.
So this green environmental thing. So all these things are planned. So first is the project and the DPR, then the engineering plan, then the procurement plan, the financial plan, the social impact assessment, NS plan,
Right.
the sustainability plan. All these things are done. And once you do all these things, then you go ahead to execute a project. And I'm happy to tell you that today all projects of MMRDA have almost achieved financial closure. And these other plans, as we talk about, are not only completed, but they're also getting executed.
No, I think it gives me a lot of confidence to hear how, a lot of these metro projects are likely to be completed over the next few months and years itself. And of course, how thoughtfully you're going around expansion, because you need to think about all of these factors before you make that commitment. Thank you, Dr. Mukherjee, for making time and speaking with us. It would have taken us a lot more time to perhaps go through the entire report, but a brief overview is really appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you.